Just received notification that my Starlink has been delivered. I'll drive up to the front office because it's a 30-pound box, or at least it says on UPS. So I can put it in the back of the truck. And it's already been configured and set up in Arizona because that's where my service address is. Thank you, Ken, for helping me out with that. And I'm gonna plug it in and set it up, put it on the back of the truck.
Launch auto sequence has started.
6,
Blast off.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go for launch.
For our new viewers out there, Starlink is a constellation of satellites that can provide high-speed, low-latency internet all over the globe, particularly in remote areas where connectivity is limited or completely unavailable. And the rocket that you see on your screen there will be taking additional satellites to space in order to grow our constellation and expand our coverage.
All right. No. Oh, what?
Here, come here, Trish.
What? Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, hello. Yes, hello.
The stand.
I love you. I
This
love
is
you,
the
Charlie.
Starlink.
Oh my gosh. Are you excited?
Oh yeah, I'm thrilled. This is the router. And this is the cable.
Oh dear, that's serious.
And this is the power. And
I love how clean they made
so
it.
here's one thing. Would you mind holding the camera
What's
for
going
me?
on here? Is this like the Earth orbiting or something?
I don't know. That's the router.
Yeah, but there's pictures, fun pictures.
Can you hold this for me real quick?
Yes, I will. Charlie, 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 Charlie. Let's not roll around in the mud, okay?
I have a way to get into the RV through the outside compartment there, under Kayla's bed. Oh, right there. Thank you. There we go. That's great. Thank you. And I'll just keep the Starlink right there for right now, and I'll keep you posted.
Is it working?
No. I just wanted to show everybody what kind of speeds we're getting here. Not so bad, huh?
That is so darn exciting.
Not so bad. All right, so this is the Harbor Freight 20-foot telescoping flagpole.
That's right.
And you 3D printed this guy right here.
That's correct.
And this is the adapter for the Starlink?
It is.
Specifically for the Harbor Freight flagpole.
Specifically for that pole.
But why did you get the Harbor Freight one, out of curiosity?
Because it was $64.
Okay, okay.
No, but it's a substantial pole too. It's not a little inch and a half.
All right. Oh man, that's serious.
It's telescoping.
Oh my gosh.
Sure is. Oh, you get a flag too. Look at that.
This might be Sean's pole. I don't know where I'm gonna keep this thing, man. I don't have a giant RV like you guys.
I mean, so you know, you get down to that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
You said it was tight, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Do you have an extra one of these?
There you go.
I guess I just stand here.
You got it.
What's the speed now? That's like the old antenna. When you turn it to the left, I can get channel 7.
All right, it didn't take much time for the four of us to figure out a really good plan, and I really like this pole. I don't know if you can tell, but it is seriously stout, and it goes up 20 feet. Not that I would need it. In fact, I would probably keep it pretty low. But here's what the plan is for right now, because this little adapter that Eric 3D printed right here, oh, it works perfect. It snapped in, no problem. So our thinking is, like, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a little sleeve, a little open, round sleeve. Well, let me show you. A sleeve just like this, right? But I'm gonna do it out of metal, and I'm gonna have it welded right to this plate right here, which I have already welded this on for the bike hitch. So if I put that guy right here like this, and we weld it in, and let's say it's about 10 inches or so, and that's right here, then I can just come out back, pick up this little guy, slide it right in here like this, telescope it out just above the RV, no problem. And then if you're wondering where I'm going to store this, look at this. Almost too easy. What do we got? 139?
140.
147.
150.
150.
152.
And about 8 to 9, 10, 14 up. That's not bad considering it's pointing straight up and it's not even locked in on anything, huh?
It's not even on the pole yet.
Imagine what kind of speed that's going to increase.
We're going to hoist this thing 20 feet in the air. We'll get it close to the satellites. That'll make it go faster.
Oh yeah, that'll reduce the latency. Even though latency is actually technically from a ground station.
Right.
Ground station in Columbus.
That's what it said.
Okay.
There's a ground station in Columbus?
Oh, that's where it sent that test to. So.
Oh, look at this! You already got it set up. Now I heard on these Husky systems that you had to kind of cut out the back just a little bit.
Yeah, the bottom of it.
Okay.
To get it to fit in there, but it's totally waterproof.
So Mark, we buy 2 everything.
Yeah.
I bought 3.
You did?
I did. There's one for you, one for each of you.
How are you going to mount the flagpole to stabilize it?
So I zip tie to the handle.
Okay.
And then on the awning track here on the bottom.
Yeah.
And on the top, I don't know if you can see that, there's holes drilled in there.
Okay.
I just run a zip tie through there, and it's rock solid.
So do you have to do that every time?
Yeah.
So you burn through a couple zip ties every stop.
I mean, they're like $3 for 100 at Harbor Freight. So, when you're picking up your $65 flagpole, grab a pack of these 11-inch zip ties. $3.99. Oh, no, it's not coming out.
Oh yeah, there's a button right there.
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Depends on if it works or not.
That's nothing easier, dude.
That's fantastic. There you
All right,
go.
do you want to pull it out or up against?
Oh, totally up against. I want as much contact as I can get, in case it gets windy.
There it goes.
Is that it?
Is it adjusting up there?
Yeah, it's spinning.
All right, what's your plan with the cord? Are you going to just bring it through the slide?
I'll just bring it through the slide.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it'll get through the slide, and I'll put the router on top of the hutch in there.
Okay.
It should be out of the way.
Yeah. Man, you zipped that together right quick.
It's not my first rodeo.
This is upload speed. That's 11-ish. So we had a Zoom call this morning. 0 issues, 0 anything. So anyhow, I'm going to put it in stow mode. I've never done this before, so I'm going to get into the app. And
What? He's in stow mode.
he's going to stow mode.
He went to stow mode. Okay.
Here, come around here, Trish. Come around here.
What?
So I've got online. I'm going to go to settings, and then I'm going to go stow. Okay. Oh, you see it?
Oh, that was cool.
Was it?
I didn't think I
catch
could
it in
get up
time?
there as quickly. Yeah, no. It just tilted down.
Sean, let me show you what Sean and Eric made. Lift that up. Pull this out. Right here. It's the Starlink box. I'll show. Well, I don't know if I showed you what we did. I'll show you the box, and then we'll cut over to how they did it.
Gasket on there?
How much did that Husky thing cost? And did you get it at Home Depot?
$32, $33 Home
Okay.
Depot. 12
and so
gallon.
$32 for the container, $64 for the pole. Starlink was kind of expensive, wasn't that like $700?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part. That's where they get you.
And the service is 110, but now they've upped up the portability to 25 a month.
Right.
So it's 135 a month.
135.
But I
for
tell you
all
what,
these.
that's cheaper than any other high-speed internet I'm paying for.
Absolutely, it is. And we talked about it, the value of that for places that opens up for like me and my family, where we have a great place we love to go. We can only go on the weekend because I don't have cell service, so I can't work.
Yes.
It's not that the cell service is not good. No, you have to drive to the marina to
man.
make a phone call.
Yep.
So now we can go, even if it's slower speeds.
Which
I
it
can
won't
get
be.
stuff done. It
Which
won't
it won't
be.
be.
But I can still get stuff done.
Yeah, it's great. All right, well, hey, thanks for all the unpaid consulting, both of you.
Oh. We love this. This is what we love to do.
I don't send invoices till the end of the month.
Okay, good.
Yeah, pick us now. You might not
That's
thank
where they
us
get
later.
you. That's where Eric gets you. And what we did is we kept, ours had plastic inserts, Eric and Sean's had paper, but we just took the insert and we cut them to fit right in here like this. And then what I'll do is I'll take this guy off right now and I'll set it down right in here, and we'll put this up on top, pull the cords down, and be good to go.
Johnny Appleseed.
Okay, this will be really interesting because we're site 7, and there's some trees over there, and it'll be interesting to see if the Starlink works through those trees.
Oh,
And if it
we're always
doesn't,
testing.
yeah, and if it doesn't,
Figuring
I've got
things
AT&T because we got a Zoom call tomorrow.
Sweet.
Did you see the new case?
Oh, I saw that. Yes.
There we go. Boom. Okay, now the review portion of Starlink. I want to talk about our first impressions now that we've been traveling around with it for about a month. I want to talk about some of the pros and cons, the big obstacle, and why we've come up with the conclusion that it is the best backup internet that you could possibly get. Which, by the way, is kind of like saying Tom Brady is the best backup quarterback in the NFL. More about that. If you're wondering where we are, I'm down at Future Solutions in Elkhart, Indiana. If you recall, last year we got a big battery bank installed with an inverter, but we didn't do the solar, so we've come back now to do the solar because there have been some really cool options that have come out. Future Solutions has come out with a 100-watt solar panel that's just a little bit smaller, and that gave them the ability to put 10 panels on top of the roof. That's 1,000 watts of solar on a 30-foot Airstream. Very, very cool. And then right now, the guys are working on DC to DC charging, and we're adding 12 volt to the bed. So that's just a little glimpse of what's coming up on future videos. Okay, let's start with my comment about using Starlink as a backup internet option. Here's a great example. I pull into an RV site, and I'm eager to get Starlink out and use it again, so I pull it out of the box, and I put Dishy into the mount, and I get it set up in the right spot, I manage the cable, I get the router out, and I get it connected, and sure enough, I get crazy fast speeds, and I think this thing's awesome. And then I find out that our AT&T router, this is a Netgear router, and it's an AT&T prepaid plan, which I'll talk a little bit about. I find out that this also has really fast speeds, and it lives right up there underneath the cabinet, and I have to do nothing to get it set up or anything. And so it was in that moment that I realized that every time I pull into a campsite, I don't automatically set up the mat and bring out the chairs and bring out the solo stove and set up our tables and bring out the Blackstone. That might be what, if you're going out for the weekend and you're going to a campsite, that might be what you do. But I think a lot of people that are on the road for an extended period of time very quickly learn that you tend to only bring out what you know you're going to need, or you're going to spend most of your camping time tearing down and setting up. And that's exactly how I felt like in that moment with Starlink. I'm thinking, well, geez, I could have just got right to work. I didn't need to go through all that hassle. Now, it's not a lot of work. I don't want to over dramatize it, but it's a fair amount of work if I already have sufficient internet. And I don't believe that you can use Starlink. I don't believe that Starlink can replace your cellular plans yet, and that's due to some of the obstacles. So let's talk about the pros and cons. The biggest disadvantage that we have found with Starlink so far is trees.
Watch out for these trees.
Copy on the trees. And it makes perfect sense because trees and the RV lifestyle, they go hand in hand. Some of the best campgrounds I'm sure you enjoy are surrounded in trees. RV parks are going to have a lot of trees because they provide shade. And if Starlink doesn't have a direct line of sight to the northern sky, it's really not going to work, or it's going to have intermittent obstacles at some level of frequency. So about half the time that we've used Starlink, we've had to navigate around the trees. It's never really shut us down, but it would if you were somewhere like in the Smoky Mountains in Elkmont Campground, which is where we were, just covered in trees. And so at that campground, there's zero cell phone service, but there would also be no access to the sky. So that's probably the biggest disadvantage. Some of the pros, of course, is why I love it so much, and that is that if you are in an area that you do not have AT&T or our cell phone provider on our phones is Verizon, and you have no cell phone service, all I've got to do is go through getting it out of the box. It takes 5 to 10 minutes, and getting it set up. And not only am I going to have internet, I'm going to have extremely fast internet. All right, let's talk about who Starlink might be for, and I also said I would provide more information on our primary cell phone plan or our data plan, and it's simple. It's actually embarrassingly simple. You might think we might have some fancy system or truly unlimited plan, antennas and things like this, and we just don't. This is a Netgear Nighthawk router. It's incredibly effective in terms of its range. We have it plugged in to a USB, so it's always charged. And the SD card inside here is a prepaid AT&T plan. We pay about $55 a month, I think 60 after taxes. It auto renews each month, and it gives us 100 gig a month. And that's been pretty sufficient. And then we're able to use our cell phones to kind of like supplement that data. And now with Starlink taking so much of the load, we're in really good shape. Who Starlink might be for, for those that are working remotely and you're on the road for an extended period of time and you're looking for even more freedom and independence, you want to go in places like Boondock, really far away where there isn't cell phone coverage. Well, I mean, that's the holy grail and what Starlink is going to provide the best solution for. But even if you're not in that situation, maybe you're a weekend warrior or an empty nester and you don't need internet back at the house when you're on the road, I mean, a really great thing to consider is maybe changing your internet provider at your house to Starlink. And so you're actually saving the money, because I would imagine you're probably paying somewhere just north of $100 for high-speed internet at your house. That way you could use Starlink at the home, and when you hit the road, you could just take it with you. That's a pretty good option too. But as I say, and I'll just re-presence, I don't think that you could replace your data solution with Starlink alone. You have to have some sort of plan, and I think this is the most economical plan that we have found. And by the way, you don't have to be an AT&T customer. The prepaid plans, all you have to do is just walk into a corporate AT&T store. In fact, I think the other carriers, T-Mobile, Verizon, have something similar. We've just had good luck with AT&T. Cell phone data reliability or effectiveness has so much to do with where you are in the country, and we've spent so much time in the East. We've had good luck with AT&T, but in different parts of the country, different plans. And so there again is just another advantage of Starlink, where I don't have to worry so much about where I am in the country, because if I really need internet, I can just go dry camp somewhere where there's no trees around me, and I'm covered. So I'm trying to paint a real practical picture on what makes Starlink so great, but also what are the disadvantages, so you can see if it's right for you. Regarding the plans, Starlink is $110 a month, but portability, which means that you could use it anywhere, is an additional $25. So that's $135 a month. And now they've just come out with a plan for RVers. And what this means is, it means you won't have a service address. You won't have a place where your service is prioritized. It means you're going to be able to get it right away, but you won't really have like a home. Meaning that if you were ever in an area that Starlink was at capacity, they could deprioritize you. But here are my thoughts on this, and this is just my opinion only. I haven't done any research on this. It's just me kind of speculating. I feel like if Starlink was at capacity in a certain area, it would probably be a bigger city, and I'm guessing my Verizon and AT&T will work pretty well, and it's not going to bother me. And in places that I'm totally remote and I would love to use Starlink because I'm far away, I would feel like that would have good priority. So I personally haven't experienced any of this deprioritization since we've been on the road, but those are kind of my thoughts. This is probably the only Starlink video we're going to do, but if anything changes, or we're just on our travel videos week to week, we'll just incorporate any updates and as we go. And speaking of travel videos, we had such a great time at the Air Force Museum that we just thought we'd make that its own episode next week, because there's really a lot to share. So, okay, that's it. That is the pros and cons of Starlink from our perspective during the time we've had it. We hope you find that helpful. Our goal now, because we've been having so much fun doing live streams with KYD Insiders and our Amazon Lives, if you've been joining us on those, our goal now is to be out in some crazy random remote place and do a live stream using our Starlink. So if you want to join us for stuff like that, be sure to hop over to keepyourdaydream.com and get on our email list, because we send out special announcements and event invitations via email all the time. In fact, next weekend, June 25th, 2022, we're hosting a mini RV show with Cunis RV through E3 Camping. Open to the public, hundreds of RVs. We're going to be doing a demonstration with Blue Ox, Hitch Distribution. Trish and I will be talking. Lots of fun. So if you're in the area, you're up in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, come out and join us there. And then, like I said, if you hop on our email list, you won't miss any of these special announcements and stuff like that, live streams, etc. So That was a lot of information. Thanks for staying to the end. We're glad you're here, and we'll catch you next Sunday. Bye for now.